how do you navigate life's biggest choices? Especially, when you're coming from a place that feels maybe a bit small and the world ahead seems just vast and uncertain.
Oh, absolutely. It can feel like stepping out into a really dense fog without a map, can it?
Yeah, exactly. The uncertainty is so real.
And sometimes the hardest part is just figuring out what the options even are, let alone which one is, right for you.
Well, today we're taking a deep dive into a really remarkable journey that speaks directly to that feeling. We're unpacking the story of Chelsea,
Right.
someone who started in a rural village in Shandong, powered through this incredibly strict high school, tackled a demanding university program she knew basically nothing about,
Mm-hmm.
and ultimately found her way to becoming a technical product manager in a major city, New York, actually.
And the source material for this is quite unique, isn't it? It's a self-interview.
Exactly. Raw, unfiltered, just Chelsea reflecting on her key decisions, her experiences. It's a really personal account.
Yeah, the path she forged herself.
So our mission here is to pull out the most important insights, those real aha moments from her story. We want to find those nuggets of knowledge that offer maybe a different perspective on education, career pivots, personal growth.
Especially for you, the listener, as you're thinking about your own future, your own path.
And it's worth mentioning, this self-interview, it originally came from a series meant for high school students, right before their big college entrance exams.
Yeah, the idea wasn't to advocate for any specific path, just to give them a diverse set of real, unedited life stories, kind of broaden their horizons about what's possible.
Okay, so let's dive in, starting at the beginning. Chelsea's origins. Rural Shandong, small village, attended a county high school.
And this wasn't just any high school. It was known locally for being super strict. Almost military-style management, she says.
Yeah, she even draws comparisons to places like Hangshui Middle School, which is famous for that intensity.
That kind of environment, it tells you immediately about the intense focus on academics. The Gaokao, the college entrance exam, that's everything.
It's a system geared for maximum output on that exam. She mentions this quick little anecdote, almost in passing.
Oh, the one about the roommate.
Yeah, briefly rooming with a girl from a big city. This girl seemed beautiful, started dating right away. It's a small detail, but
But it hints at a totally different world, doesn't it? A glimpse of cultural differences,
Yeah.
different priorities maybe. It kind of foreshadows that information explosion she talks about later.
and the daily routine she describes.
Yeah.
5:30 a.m. wake up, morning run, early self-study, quick meals just crammed in, classes, then late evening study until 9:30 p.m.
And she even mentions sometimes secretly studying more with a flashlight under the covers.
That dedication, it speaks to this immense internal drive, right?
Okay.
Fueled by the system, sure, but also her own goals.
Definitely. That level of sustained effort, it's hard for most of us to even imagine.
But even in that grind, there were these moments that kind of broke through, moments she still remembers vividly. She highlights 3.
Okay.
First, the whole class watching just 15 minutes of the slam dunk anime during evening self-study.
It's fascinating, isn't it? How such a tiny slice of pop culture shared together becomes a major memory in that kind of rigid environment.
Shows that human need for connection, just a brief escape.
Totally. Even small breaks become incredibly valuable.
Okay, second moment, telling a teacher during office hours with total confidence that she was aiming for Tsinghua University.
Wow, Tsinghua, top tier.
Yeah, and she didn't just say Tsinghua, she gave specific target scores for each subject. And a classmate overheard and laughed, called her Don Quixote.
Ouch. But that's audacity, isn't it? Real vision to state such a high goal out loud, coming from where she did and facing that skepticism.
Takes courage.
It really does. Shows the power of setting ambitious targets, even if others doubt you.
And the third moment, placing 4th in the county on a semester-end exam. She won an 800 RMB scholarship.
Now, that's not just an academic win, that's tangible.
Right. That 800 RMB, it wasn't just pocket money. It paid for her entire next semester's tuition.
Which really underscores how critical money was. Just her ability to continue studying depended on things like that.
So after all that intense high school effort, the Gaokao scores come out. And back then, you got your scores before applying to universities.
Which changes the whole dynamic, yeah. No guesswork, but the reality can be pretty stark. You see exactly what you've got to work with.
And for Chelsea,
Sure.
the scores were a huge disappointment. She said her results in English and biology were extremely poor, made her hair stand on end.
Oh, man. After years of that kind of focus, that must have been crushing, especially aiming so high.
So this immediately creates conflict. Her gut feeling, her strong desire, was to retake the Gaokao, spend another year studying.
Oh, the family.
Fiercely against it, yeah.
You can see why, though. The cost of another year, plus there's no guarantee she'd do significantly better. It's a big gamble.
So it pitted her ambition against their, very real financial and practical concerns. They reached a compromise. She would aim for a top 10 comprehensive university, nothing lower.
Okay, still pretty ambitious.
Right. And if she didn't get into one, then she'd figure out a way, borrow money somehow, and retake the exam.
That determination is striking. Even with the setback and the pressure, she wasn't willing to just settle. And the resolve to borrow money.
Wow. So then comes the actual university selection. And back then, it was incredibly manual.
Oh, yeah, no slick websites or anything.
She talks about going through this thick physical guidebook, poring over recruitment score lines for different universities, different majors, specifically for students from Shandong.
Doing all this mental calculation, figuring out probabilities. It's like strategic data analysis, but with a giant book.
A very different skill from the high school grind, yeah.
Yeah.
Shows the sheer effort involved in just navigating the system back then.
Totally.
And she tells this great little story about chasing after a senior who'd given a talk. He was a former student union president.
Trying to get some intel.
Exactly. She just wanted to ask him questions. But she was so eager, the grade director apparently thought she was chasing stars, like a groupie.
Huh. But that's her proactive nature again, isn't it? Sees a source of info, someone who's been through it, and goes for it. Taking initiative.
So her first choice university ended up being that seniors university. Specifically, the electronics department in the Information Science and Technology Institute.
Okay.
And here's the kicker. She admits she had zero concept of what that major actually entailed.
Wow. Okay, that tells you a lot about how these huge decisions sometimes get made, doesn't it?
Totally. It wasn't passion for electronics. It wasn't deep research. It was influenced by a person she admired.
A human connection. It shows how imperfect and, relational these choices can be when you don't have all the info.
And her other choices she listed, they're even more revealing of that blank slate feeling.
Yeah, what were they?
Applied psychology. Because her friends told her secrets.
Okay.
Advanced nursing. Because a classmate said she gave good back massages.
Seriously.
And tourism management. Because she wanted to travel for free.
They're wonderfully imaginative, but kind of highlight how much exploration she still needed to do about, everything. Herself, the world, actual careers.
Right. Zero grounding in the reality of those fields.
So how did she tell her parents about this electronics choice, especially given their earlier resistance?
The tactic. It was quite something. She called them from a public phone booth.
Old school.
Stated the university name, insisted the application was already submitted, couldn't be changed.
Oh, bold move.
And apparently she initially misled them about the location, made it sound closer than Guangzhou. And then she went and stayed at a friend's house for a few days.
To avoid being forced to change it.
Exactly, to prevent them from intervening. That level of planning, maybe a little bit of strategic misdirection.
Driven by conviction, right, and anticipating their reaction about the distance and cost once they realized it was Guangzhou.
She was determined to make her choice stick.
Yeah.
And amazingly,
let me guess, she got in.
Her prediction was spot on.
Yeah.
Accepted into her first choice.
Wow. Validation for all that manual calculation and maneuvering.
So she gets to Guangzhou.